Hey everybody out there in the void. Bibierzo again, and to be honest, I almost forgot to record this today, because I'd almost forgotten I'd even watched a film today. But when you watch a film so middle of the road that it doesn't stand out, it kind of happens, I guess. And that's where I fall on Ouija. Okay. I mean, every now and again, there's a certain charm to a movie that's so... to an average horror movie. One that's not great, but not terrible. It's almost relaxing, really, to just kind of zone out and autopilot through it. Alright, so, Ouija. Based on the spirit talking boards, particularly the Hasbro Ouija board game, as they so clearly point out on the back, based on the Hasbro game. So yep, this is kind of in line with other movies that they've been doing, like Battleship. Yeah. So, random horror movie board game tie-in. Alright, so it's not terrible, but it isn't anything special. And it does have its problems. Okay, so what do we got here? Two best friends, well, it more or less starts with them as children, and then alright scene of them just fooling around with a Ouija board with their kids. Okay, cool, fine. Scene isn't great, but it does add a little bit of context. Then it jumps again to those two same friends, and pretty much once burning a Ouija board, and then before coming out to talk. And it's clear that they've been having some sort of problems, but they're not really going into what. And the one friend who's come over, which is our main character, Lane, and Debbie is the girl who just burned the Ouija board. So, Lane's really worried about Debbie, but Debbie's been acting strange, but Debbie assures her that, no, everything's fine, I just had to take care of some things, I'll be okay by tomorrow, don't come in. Emphasizes that, and Lane thinks it's a little weird, but you know, let's go. And that night, well, she gets ghosted. By that I mean, well, strange things start happening, things start moving around, the Ouija board that she burned is back, and then suddenly she's off. I've got some questions and problems here, but the scene itself isn't bad. I have other issues revolving around it, but it's okay. Then, distraught and crippled by grief, then Lane and her boyfriend, Debbie's boyfriend, and Lane's younger sister, and their other friend, Isabella. Hey, I'm actually remembering characters' names, so I guess that's a mark in the favor of this one. They try to do everything they can to cope with this, and Debbie's parents have then had to get away from that house where they believe her daughter killed herself in. So they're letting Lane come over and take care of it. And so Lane gets the idea to try to say goodbye. She spotted the strange Ouija board and, okay, wants to say goodbye. Well, some strange things happen when the board says, "Hi, friend," and they just assume that it's probably nothing. It's probably just one of them getting through their grief. But when the message "Hi, friend" starts appearing other places, and, well, things get strange, they try again and, well, start actually seeing ghosts through the planchette. Not Debbie, but a strange girl with her mouth sewn shut, and her oppressive, spooky mother. And then after that, they realize something has gone afoul, and they start dying one by one, and it goes traditional horror movie of dealing with it. They reach out to the sister of, they believe is the ghost, and supposedly find a way of releasing her spirit, and things go from there. Alright, so let's pick this one apart. There's plot holes all over this movie. Okay, so first, my big problem here is pacing. This movie, like I said when I talked about Slenderman, it just jumps right in. And don't always have a problem with that, but when you're mainly trying to draw on the emotional connection between Debbie and Lane, the problem I'm having is we know Debbie for about 30, we see Debbie and Lane together for about 30 seconds. We get in about a minute with Debbie before Debbie's dead. So you're not given enough time to really feel any of that. And yeah, they do some things about her wandering through Debbie's room, getting memories, and seeing some things, but it doesn't really do anything to... I would have liked to have spent a little more time with Debbie before this happened. I mean, it does show how things more or less got going later, but what could be a relatively effective spot there just doesn't do it. It looks like it's trying to be the opening to the ring, and it isn't. Okay. So, my main problem... So, this all seems to have come across because Debbie found a weird Ouija board, remembered using in her attic. She remembered fooling around with Ouija boards with her friend Lane, so she just goofs off with it, and then this happens, leading to her death. Now, Lane and Debbie have been friends for years, and I said they always used to goof around with a Ouija board. The opening scene does show them fooling around with the Ouija board over at, it would have had to have been at Lane's place, because her little sister Sarah was there. But Debbie was the main one leading that, indicating it was her board, from the impression I got. So, did they never play over at Debbie's house? I mean, that seems to have been what woke up the, there, because the spooky rules of don't play in a graveyard was kind of the big one here, because playing above dead people. So they never played there, so this never woke up? Or was it because they had to use a special spirit board that belonged to that family? Doesn't really ever go into it. It just seems to be, do Ouija bad thing happen? So the fact that they were doing it so much before doesn't work with this. Also, when she finds out where Debbie found the board by watching a video that she found on this random flash drive that Debbie's mother gave Lane a bunch of effects, including what turned out to be a flash drive that was disguised as a keychain. Okay, puts it in, sees a video of Debbie. Okay, I'm gonna go clean the attic. Look what I found in the attic. Why was she filming this? Was she doing some video posting? But she just seems to be doing it for no reason. There's no reason for her to have filmed that, especially since she's just posing in front of the camera. I'm gonna go clean the attic, and then it cuts to her. I'm back. I'm never doing that again. Look what I found. What? Why? If you're putting that as an online vid, that's going to be a very lame vid. That's coming from me and my show. Okay, next problem. What the ghost does and why doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, I get they keep doing a thing with the lips sewing shut, that's fine. The ghost seems to possess someone briefly and lead them to either kill themselves or just take control of their body and off them, fine. But when the ghost is doing spooky stuff around Debbie's house, Like when she's creeping out Debbie before killing her, the stove just turns on. Okay. I mean, sure, the door's opening, leading her upstairs, but why the stove? And then later on, the stove turns on again when the group is in the house. And right after the power goes off, the stove just turns on. Why? There's no reason. Just stove? Are we just turning on random shit to be creepy? Usually when you're doing it, there's more of a point to it. No, okay. Just stove on, because stoves on are turning on is spooky. Okay. So the effects on the little girl initially, with her being a scared girl with her mouth so shut, yeah, that was creepy and effective. I'll give it that. The images of her mother doing the CG ghost, long extended mouth running at the camera thing, now that wasn't working for me. And then later when you see alternate versions, it's a little cheesy. So the ghost effects aren't great in this overall. The little girl, they're passable, but the mother is never really very good. Okay, this is one of those ones I have to take a bunch of notes for. Alright. So, another thing is this movie is PG-13. Okay, I'm out. PG-13 horror movies can be good if done right. That's fine. But you still have to work with it. I mean, and sometimes when obvious corners are being cut because of the rating, it's glaring. This is the case of, yes, a lot of characters do die in this movie. When two of them, I can't tell you, that are killed off, and one of them, I can't tell you how he died, and the other one just looked like, wasn't sure of whether or not he was going to get out, and then he suddenly turns up dead. It looks like there's some scenes missing here. I mean, girl hanging herself, you don't see too very clearly, but, you know, it was done in a creepy way. That one worked. Other girl, somebody gets her mouth sewn shut. That was creepy and effective. Before lifting up and then being dropped, slamming her head on the sink, she's dead. Kind of lame way to die, but okay. Next death? Guy just seems to go all ghosted over, like he's being taken control of, and that's all you see. And then someone else falls into a pool, thrashes around for a little bit, but no, that's all you see. Until you see like a ghost version of him later. Why was there a ghost version of him? I don't know. Can they do that? I mean, the ghost girl thing seems to be able to assume other people's forms, so she's just doing that, but she also seemed to be elsewhere, so there's so much inconsistency with what this ghost can do. It's... Okay, so, eventually it kind of culminates with them having to go down and try to get rid of a body, because of course they do. And this is a bit of a mixed bag. I will say, a ghost creepily coming up to someone's mouth. Decently creepy, but it's in a hidden room. Downstairs. That's been sealed off. Why does it look like natural sunlight is getting down here? Because, like, they're coming with the flashlights, but there's just beams of light coming in from nowhere. And it looks very bright. It looks like daylight. And it doesn't seem to be any other light fixtures there, and there's no one's turned anything on. So, if the police were looking for this body before, because she was reported missing, and if there's windows going down into this spot, how was she not found? Okay. That, unloaded a little bit there. So, can I say anything nice about this movie? I guess. I mean, the acting was not great, but it was okay. Some of the characters, particularly, Lane, you felt how upset she was over her friend's death. That did come across very well, as well as her frustration with her younger sister's behavior. that was working for me. Also, how confused the boyfriend of confused and lost seeming the boyfriend of Debbie was. Okay, that was done. Okay. Before I get into what I like, actually, I didn't really touch on much on the pacing. I mentioned at the beginning it just jumped right in. The rest of it's also kind of inconsistent. Like the movie seems like it's in a hurry. So many scenes will be just quick, but at the same time, there's some that are just extra and pointless. Like this random grief counselor scene of her just going in, no one can help me, and going out and never comes back to it again. It's just when boom, boom, done. There's a lot of little scenes like that of just quick interaction that has nothing to do with anything and is never touched on again. I swear there's a longer version of this somewhere. Okay, but I was going to say things I liked. Oh, one Lin Shaye is in this, and I like Lin Shaye. So anything she's in gets a little bit of a lift. And she's in good form. Does a kind of whacked out, cackling old woman thing pretty well here, so okay. I will say I did like the trying to distract the ghost by using the Ouija board. Ghost is creeping up to someone about to kill them, and then so someone just grabs a Ouija board and starts doing the thing and calls out to the spirit, which the ghost just looks up and like, God damn it, I gotta go deal with this now, and gets called to the board. So using that to distract it. I did like that. That was like a weird battle of wills over a Ouija board. That was working for me. That's really all the nice things I can say about this one. Been trying to figure out where to put this one on my MacGuffin things. Like, it's watchable. It is. But it isn't anything special. It has a lot going against it. So it's straddling the line between 2 and 3. I don't think it's quite bad enough to drop it down to a 2. But it's... I suppose... I guess when I reviewed The Nun, I think I gave that one a 3 because it was just okay. I think this one's kind of in that same general, where it's very low on the 3s, but I could still give this one a 3. It's kind of hard, because like I gave Quiet Place 2 a 3, and that one was better. But maybe it's just I have a soft spot for this one. I don't know. So it's not quite bad enough to be a 2 though, so it's a very low 3. We'll just go with that. Alright. So that's my scattershot review of Ouija. At some point I'll get around to reviewing the sequel, Ouija Origin of Evil, which, I'll be honest, I actually really liked. So, we'll get into that when we get to that, though. Yep. So, I watched a good movie, so chances are I'm going to be watching something not quite as good coming up. Have to obtain balance in life, I suppose. That'll be probably just a pull off the top of my stack of dollar store movies. So, who knows? Maybe I'll get something worthwhile. Can I be lucky again? We'll find out. Have a good night, everyone.